going over towards bootcamp. I believe that's FaZe actually hitting in straight away, as well as D+kiye, yeah, just underneath them.
I believe that's D+kiye. Is that? I'm not entirely sure, but we'll hopefully jump on board with this bootcamp position. Over in the south, you've got SEM and iCurd fairly close to each other, but they should have given each other enough of a berth to be getting on with. Everybody else seemingly keeping their distance right now. S2G have got a Lone Ranger coming through to deal with over in Paradise Resort. They're going to have to try and flush out that one. They should see that parachute. Northwest Circle to kick things off. So the Gladiators potentially with a good stronghold to start.
It's amusing to see this one, honestly, for the Gladiators, considering European Championships. They were praying for this Northwest Circle to come through every single time. It didn't come through till much later, in which case I think those guys were a little bit burned out. But right at the start of Pmwi All-Stars, we are going to get it straight away, which I imagine that they are very pleased to be seeing. Now, FaZe versus D+kiye. I have to stay away from that one. Again, tripping me up. You change your names every year. It's fine. I'm going to get on board with it. It's okay. Right now, Forest, Seidan, was Favian off in the distance. We know he likes to take these off angles on the back of his teams. Torres steps out, but immediately gets put down.
Torres first to fall on the FaZe squad. Damage sent back towards Forest, but they're staying alive, and the extra barrel important in the fight in close range in these quarters. Single bullet can change everything. Ventura's seemingly looking to get rezzed here. D+kiye fading back. They're going to try and reposition around to the east side of the fight. As Osal breaks forward, Favian playing 1-2 punch on this. Mela. On Zenks. Try and face off there. Will he be able to get through the door frame? Just about sneaks away from Favian. On the top rope, there's a little bit of a worry as well. Mela with the DBS. We're going to try and suppress these off angles. Seidan through the window with the M249 needs to lay this suppressing fire down, keep them in this staircase and allow your teammate to try and roll on through. 1 for 2 is the trade, and actually it's looking good for FaZe. 2 of them are knocked short, but they've managed to come up. Quids in here, down one. D+kiye trying to wrestle things back into their favor. They've managed to get 1 flush blank to start things off. Favian will fall, but FaZe on 2. Gonna have a bad time of it. FaZe eliminated. D+kiye take bootcamp, but they lose 3 players.
Damn, Seidan was looking very chillaxed towards the end of that fight as well with the auto shot. He made it happen. Obviously, D+kiye, not the ideal result for you, but as long as you're keeping 1 player in bootcamp, not likely anyone's going to be coming towards your position soon, and you can cross the river quite early on. So this is good news for Seidan. He will pick up 4 elimination points for his troubles, which is great. I think overall they should be happy with this one. Ozzy-san from Yokohama steps out into a nade.
Traded off though. Missile is there for the 1-2 for the second trade. Now, up the top there, Ozzy-san getting flushed away though, so not going to be able to keep the team safe. Maybe if he'd had some of that, some of those cool skins from the Pmwi crate that you can see on your screens now, he would have been able to stay a little bit safer.
Maybe these things are made of a bit of a tougher type of Kevlar, which still certainly looks very cool. That's available through from July 15th to August 15th, as well as our milestone event at the PUBG Mobile Esports Center, which you can access by going to the app on your phone. So check that one out, certainly. Make sure that you're all involved with the skins and the prizes that are available over on the Esports Center. Back to the game, though, where we're playing esports ourselves, making sure we know who is the top of the top, who's the best of the best, and we're just starting out already, and there is have that extra added little bit of urgency that they need to start taking shots towards members outside of the arena that may be getting a little bit too close, because I think they played the safe game, the smart game for a very long time, to the point where when they need that bronze, it is just not there available to them to muscle their way through to a chicken dinner.
Ooh, SEM9 losing Tam and flushed as well. Aton holding strong on the southwest island atop the hill. Such a crucial position to control those river crossings to try and get up towards that northwest island. They're really well done to hold out a player there, but they have only managed to take 1 down so far, and Alpha 7 are going to be knocking on the door in a couple of seconds, less than a minute you'd assume. We'll see if they're able to keep control there and try and assault onto the Gladiator stronghold.
S2G moving in, but Kelsey with the Vector. That is so instantaneous. Finds 1. The second player tries to step out for the challenge, but Kelsey too quick for it. gives him the red card, sends him out the lobby. That was disgusting.
Kelsey able to hit some really sweet shots over towards RA earlier as well. Doing a lot of work, both of the eliminations for the squad so far. RA on 2, they reposition over towards the junction.
Taking quick stock of the map here. I mean, these are really good players. The fact that we have so many teams on the outer edges as well that are still just being able to creep their way in a little bit is fantastic to see. Everyone seems to have done the homework that I was talking about yesterday that you guys at home didn't hear about. But I'm sorry. We'll reiterate it now. And I think a lot of these teams have to have done the homework. 18 teams, you need to know where all these rotations are. You need to know where all these teams will be dropping and how high you need to arc a grenade to get a nade like that one off from Mazex. This trick really made a meal out of that one. It looked good.
Aegon XI8 now down to just 2 active. IQ wants to try and play on this ridge side, but it's really not going to be too easy here. The zone ticking away very, very heavily. You got Mazexus in the way. The Shrink goes up northwest, keeps the mountaintop in, but S2G in a very, very favorable coastal position.
Yeah, I think S2G coming off from their slightly subpar performance over in the finals of Turkey, they are looking for a much stronger performance here in Pmwi. Not able to represent their country over in the European Championship, despite coming off from their massive win over at PMGC. I do think that S2G has had a lot of time to put in the work to do that homework, and I think that they're ready to show us what they've got here in the Pmwi at the start. Sem9 though finds Mafioso. Kenny has to pull out the DBS, but Schweppes taking down RA at the same time. But I think for Alpha 7, that just looked a little bit too easy. Unfortunately, their actual traversal into this circle, John, has left them so barren in terms of medical supplies. This has been a difficult time coming, and I think it was only a matter of time before they started losing members.
Vampire managed to get onto the junction compound north of Camp Alpha. They will take position to the south of S2G. And under the purview of Matic from Gladiators, who have still got control over the whole of the high ground in that position. No one really looking to try and push up there. Aton may be the only team in a position to do so from that south side. I'd imagine Yangon Galacticos just happy to play underneath them. Milios, though, has trouble brewing as Revo turns the corner. Easy pickings, but there's shots from the top of the hill to try and slow things down. Will not be able to find the shot, and Revo can heal it back.
Revo is such a good player, man. It is hard to really talk about the greatest players in the world at this moment without mentioning Revo's name. He has been such a star player overall. Nade bounced off the window though, unfortunately, but happy to bring out the DPS, get close up in towards the action. Actually going to go for a bit of a fake out here towards into the blue. This will really ruin the day, and he's in front now. Now you've got the Aton player stuck inside. This is disgusting behavior.
How are you doing it to him, Revo? You can't do that. That's unbelievable. Revo spinning him time and time again. Alpha 7, 1 player alive, but it seems like they're playing with 4 at this stage. Gladiators were able to pick up a couple of frags in the meantime as Bigatron Red Villains on the northeast side tried to move in. And now you can see, look at that, yeah. Yangon Galacticos trimmed down, given a haircut, as they try and shimmy into the shadow of the mountain.
Yeah, got a little too close for comfort. Gladiators are happy to pull out the cutters there. I think for Yangon Galacticos, been sent down to this position is really unideal. You typically want to head up towards that valley side because now you're stuck between Camp Alpha, which has very good sightlines over towards the position that Yangon Galacticos is currently trapped in. They can just sit behind this wall for as long as possible and allow DRS to potentially take shots up towards Gladiators, keep them as safe as possible for as long as possible, but it's not an ideal spot to be in at the moment. Falcons finally make their way into the circle through Hatin, of all places, and they're just sending it directly towards the center. Infinity on the northern side, back to basics from about a year ago, I would say, is Infinity playing from that northern edge, slowly moving down on Sandbox. Had a lot of success before, but they did fall off just a little bit.
Silas in the watchtower, just keeping players at bay as we get another peek at Revo's pop shots. Going for 2 of them with the DBS. I love the glove, the boxing glove on the front of that DBS. It just makes it so much more insulting when you get popped by it.
Yeah, he's delivering uppercuts left, right, and center because this guy, he's only going up in the world of PUBG Mobile, never going down for the count, 210. This guy is seriously good. For Alpha 7, though, he has kept things alive just a little bit, up to 5 eliminations so far for the team, highest in the lobby so far, but I think that's about to change as we move up towards that northern side of Sandhock itself on this northwest island. Aton get a little bit too close, and it's Super Andrew to take him down.
It's not much you can do about that. If you didn't know there was a player there, you're pushing along this cliff face, you are just going to go down. But Zohan now, not to be messed with. Behind the ridge, pushing up. Should know there's a player there at this stage. Took down a teammate. DRS, we hop on board with them as iKurd are under pressure from them. A nice spin around the back there for Killer. The Molotov to force them into these fights. The DBS so just pouring damage through the doorframe. And a third as well. Lighten them up. Killer takes it down.
DRS have come a long way since last year. Super Andrew could not get up the hill there as Zohan twists him into a pretzel before he is placed in the oven and taken down. Cute Loki from Yangon Galacticos will try and recall his player back towards him. Revo's trying to make his way in. He lived for far longer than I expected him to there. Inactive from Mazexis will be taking them down. Going down 11th place. Won't be going out the lobby with absolutely nothing. Will get at least 1 point for his troubles there. I think that takes them up to 6 points total. So decent stuff for Alpha 7. It's not exactly a 100% loss game. Really good push though coming through from DRS there on their side of the map. Vampire in the meantime are currently sat very healthily underneath the mountainside, kept clear of Gladiator's sightlines at the moment with the compound they're holding. Matic will have to back off as the shots sent back his way.
Still a really solid overlook over the coming battlefields here. A lot of open ground though, and with that circle shift blank, it's going to be playing in the foothills underneath Matic towards S2G with Infinity across the road.
You know, this is a mistake that we've seen Gladiators make quite frequently, actually, is this particular position that Matic and Kitsuda are playing in together. It is not quick enough for the rest of the team to recall towards that position. And I love this because this is a mistake they've made several times in the past, John, as we see Killer just absolutely decimate the opposition. They have not instantly all regrouped on this spot because if you are S2G, if you are Vampires, you can actually quite easily move down on the south side of this circle and up the hillside to backstab. And a lot of times Gladiators have just held 2 players there and then everything falls apart. So I am a massive fan of the fact of how quickly Gladiators actually came back together. You can tell I'm happy. You can tell I'm passionate.
Ecstatic,
it's
really.
very good. I like it. I love seeing mistakes fixed.
It's almost like they reviewed what they did and have improved since then. It's great. Oh, you love it. You love it.
You'd think that was easy. It's not.
It really isn't. It's harder than you'd imagine. But looking at the teams with 4 players alive, we highlighted that as a really important factor in Sandhawks. We're looking at Gladiators atop the mountain, Vampire from the west side. DRS, they had 4, then they got cut down to 3. Now it looks like they might be losing a couple more. S2G playing underneath the mountain, the Gladiators hold, and Infinity on the northern side, staying quiet.
Yeah, that is a position that Gladiators will have to be 100% worried about because eventually they'll have to make the decision to drop down. And S2G being there, I think Gladiators have been taken down by 1 player from this position before, so let alone 4, this is a little bit more difficult. Trick from Mazexis tried to make the move out from the valley on the right-hand side. Luckily, Meku and Tixi are locking that one down. Overall, Gladiators are exerting a lot of pressure over the lobby right now from this high ground. It's unlikely that this position will stay within the circle going forward, so they have to get as much presence from this circle as possible. In the meantime, though, Vampire continue to assault the guys from S2G.
S2G don't really have great cover from Vampire's position. You can see that is being brought to bear by a lot of the players from the Vampire roster. They are just plinking away at S2G's ranks, making it all the harder. Down to 3 players alive underneath them. Infinity will have to leave and shift down south. Good. Look at the nade coming through. Genfos opens the can of worms and sends them wriggling straight on over to the Infinity hold. Another nade. Could he do it again? They are both close together once more. Ferrari breaks out wide to try and get the advantage. The nade goes a little bit long, but a lot of damage. Feltz, unfortunately, there's a third party. The story is drawn short, but 3 players are alive. Infinity are going to be plinked away by Gladiators. A lot of damage found, but now the Gladiators will need to reposition.
That was incredible there coming through from Genfos. I mean, you saw Bensu pull out the Molotov and then wonder why things were getting so hot. It's just a Molotov after all, but then Gemforce sends the Inferno his way and he understands and finds out straight away of what was happening in that situation. Sadly, is not able to recover the entire scenario for Bigatron villains, so I think right now, for Infinity, their run's sort of over, just down to one player and delaying them. That's how much damage delay can do you in these endgame circles where they are a little bit barren. Rules from DRS will be taken down from a distance as S2G claims the Watchtower for themselves.
Dangerous, though, to hold this Watchtower from the players up top. They can find some of those ankles to get the right angle. You can't see them in return, so need to be careful about how you position there. 2 players from Infinity will be taken down. Just 1 player remains. Obviously, with the Shanock changes that came through at the start of the year, you cannot just set out and heal in the blue, so we'll need to try and run in. That's going to force Infinity to play with the blue at the back, and it's not going to go well. Eliminated. 4 teams remain.
This is good for Gladiators. I think that they will be going down very shortly, though. You can see the amount of bullets that Tixie's currently rocking on his M4. He does have a DBS, spots Calci underneath, and you wonder if he can actually take these shots before someone else spots him. Oh. Does take them. Calci goes very low, but it's sadly not enough, but they will continue to go down the mountainside. I think they should have quite a few bullets still in those DBSs, which is absolutely what you need in this situation, in this late-game scenario. The circle moves away from everyone. Everyone's drawn towards that spot, but Meku will go down. Matic has to head in.
Moves forwards and 3 players down for Gladiators. They are drawn short, and it's S2G to stay alive, but now they have to move past Vampires, who have used this opportunity to move straight on up. Razy, Hamzy both down, trying to get into position now to re-wrap back round to the Falcon spot as well, who have managed to stay alive. Blank, these guys have sent in so early and just tried to stay alive near the Infinity. They will finally go down in 3rd place. 1 player, Calci, alive, and he'll burn himself away. It is the returning champions, Vampire, to open up the bidding with a